temperatures heat up, most of us turn to the outdoors, soaking up the warm sun, enjoying the warm spring breeze. Then you see your patchy brown lawn that's been hiding under the many layers of snow all winter long.
Isn't that the worst? So, how do you fix it? Okay, basically, you have two options when it comes to turning your lawn around: sod or seed. Now get out your pencil and paper, because it's time to make a pros and cons list. A good thick lawn always starts with a well-prepped base.
It's important to prepare the soil whether you're doing sod or seed. So go ahead, rake the soil and add at least 2 inches of fresh topsoil or compost so that the sod or seed has good soil to take root in.
Sod takes just 2 or 3 weeks to establish a good root system. It's about 8 times more expensive than seed, so don't waste your investment. Water it daily.
Keep it wet for a couple weeks. I mean, every day, 10 minutes a day, 2 times a day, because that helps. All the roots are on the top of the sod, and so you don't need to soak the ground to get it wet. You want all the moisture to be in the top layer.
Also, rely on the natural warming sunlight this time of year.
If you're considering sod, be sure that your yard has a good amount of sunlight, because sod doesn't do as well if it's laid in an area of all shade.
Now, what about seed? Angie says that seed is a better option for people who don't need immediate results or who don't want to spend a lot.
Well, it's fun to see the immediate finished product of sod. Seed can be a better option in the long term because it has a better root system and it can be cheaper.
And a seeded yard develops a stronger root system because it's established in native soil. Fall is the ideal time to spread seed. Springtime requires more patience.
Because they're so much cooler, the seed lays dormant, and then when it does germinate, it's fighting against a lot of the early spring weeds that are already germinating at that time. So I would much rather do seeding late summer through the fall.
Many times, experts prefer seed.
We prefer seeding lawns, so that when you seed a lawn, that seed germinates in its natural environment, and it comes up and it's used to growing where you put it.
And some experts find that seeding actually pays off in the long run.
Typically, you'll see a lot on a lot of new construction that they'll want the front yard sodded and the backyard seeded. But if you go back a year or two later, you'll find that the backyard probably actually looks a little bit nicer than the front yard.
Now, if you decide to plant seed, Angie says to buy the highest quality seed you can afford. Check to make sure it has 0 weed content and a germination rate of about 85%. Once you've decided on sod versus seed, you'll need to think about which type of grass is best. Centipede grass only needs 1 fertilization a year plus mowing, but it can't take traffic or compaction. Bermuda grass tolerates heat and trampling, but it will need irrigation, fertilization, and frequent mowing. Also, there's bluegrass, which is better in full sun, and fescue, which does better in the shade.
All right. Well, you certainly want some warm, sunny weather for a beautiful weekend of outdoor shopping. This I want to hear more about. Sean?
Yeah, Lisa, well, it's become quite the tradition here in Rehoboth and Dewey Beach. For the past 32 years, local shops have taken their businesses outside for their annual spring sidewalk sale. Coming up, I'll give you a taste of this year's event. DelmarvaLife will be right back.